Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today, my guest is Tom Smith. He's an entrepreneur, founder of Eskfest, co-founder of Whitewood Distilling Co, and numerous other ventures. Today, we dive into an array of topics, including achieving financial freedom, setting goals, finding stillness, connecting with others, artificial intelligence, psychedelics, and the art of delegation. We also discuss tips on starting a business, the importance of being useful in the workplace, and we explore the concept of creative walking. Disclaimer, during this conversation, we touch on the subject of psychedelics. Please be aware that the use of psychedelics is illegal in many jurisdictions. This conversation is not intended to promote illegal activities. Additionally, if you are struggling with mental health issues, we strongly recommend seeking out a licensed practitioner. This episode is a discussion, is not intended as medical advice. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Tom Smith. Which podcast did you ever listen to yesterday?
The one with your mate who used to be in a band with you, who's trying a world record. Well, he tried one world record, then got smashed out the park by some Canadian. So
Yes.
he's decided to go for a different world record, which I thought was fascinating. Someone to take on a challenge like that is just the mental strength you must have to. Yeah, that's just insane.
Yeah, he's something else. Is our Andy?
Yeah.
He's his ability to just endure pain is quite something.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you find time to work out and stuff?
Yeah, mornings is the key to me, I think. I just do like home workouts, so really into like push-ups, press-ups, bit of band resistance, and yeah, just keep myself healthy really that way. Do a little bit of running every now and again. I've got a bizarre personality trait of entering things. So I just did, if you ever heard of it, it's called the Strathpuffer Challenge, which is up in Scotland. It's a 24-hour mountain bike race through some gnarly woods and stuff like that. So yeah, I have this every now and again. I try and look for something a little bit different to challenge myself. But then for some reason don't do as much training as I should do, and then it hurts more than it should do. So, yeah.
So, you don't do that conditioning work beforehand?
No, not that key bit. No, I think I still got it in my head because I've been quite sporty through my life. I've always think I've got that athleticism to be able to, just carry that forward. But I'm realising as I'm reaching the grand age of 40, a bit of conditioning work helps out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think if you do have a little bit of an athletic background, then you can, like, you could do it. Like,
Yeah.
I could probably run a marathon tomorrow, but then I'd be dead for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's why I always think about the K to B. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't. No.
Because it's about like, I could do it, but it's like the amount of training I would need to do to not like ruin myself for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is just like I'll do it at some point. I know it's like one of those things you've got to do, but like it's just a lot of walking.
It is, yeah. It'd be interesting to do a podcast on the move, Kelly Tabarro, and interview people as you went along, just to understand, like, have you trained for it? Is it something you want to do? Who you're doing it for? I think you get some really good, interesting people along the way.
That's a cool idea.
It's every different walk of life, really, does it? There's people that are doing it for a charity. Some people just want the mental challenge. Because as you say, it's just walking. So you think, well, that's all right. You set off and off you go. So I mean, one foot in the other. But like you say, the toll that it has on your body, people I don't think quite justify that, really.
Yeah, for sure. So, talk me through the projects that you're on with at the moment.
Oh, there's a few, really, to be honest. Currently, Eskfest is around the corner, so that's in the planning. We're cracking on with that. It's really good. Tickets nearly sold out, which is always blows my mind. We're which is great. Get a lot. I think about 80% of them returning, but it's good. So we've got Eskfest on the go. I've also started a renewable energy consultancy business. So that's looking at how we can help businesses either reduce their energy or implement a renewable energy source to help them reduce their energy costs. So that's what I do on the side. Also, I also run a spirits company called Whitewood Distilling Co. That's been going about 4 years now. So that's co-founder, a good friend of mine, Ellis. Ellis is pretty much the brains behind the actual like making of the spirits, the vermouth we do, and so on. And then I'm just more of the back house, sales, logistics, and operations. So that's always on the go. And then for my sins, I work 4 days a week for an actual renewable energy company. We build large scale batteries. So a bit of variety on the go at the moment.
Wow. Yeah,
Mm,
there's quite a lot going on there. How do you
there is.
find? Is there such a thing as work-life balance?
I think so. I think what I found is early mornings is a key to the work life balance. I get up quite early in the morning, usually about 5:30, which gives me a good 3 hours before I start my actual, I would call it my employed job at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I can get quite a lot done in the morning. So I don't get disturbed. No one calls me. No one rings me. Yeah, so I think that's the key to the work-life balance. It allows me then to have. Don't get me wrong, I still do a little bit of work in the evenings, but it's not as pressured to do work in the evenings. It allows me to have that freedom at weekends to enjoy life a little bit.
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely something I've tried to harness.
Mm.
Because, like you, I have a inverted commas proper job where I work
Yeah,
for someone
yeah,
else.
mm.
4 days a week, exactly the
Yeah,
same. Actually, I
mm.
always refer to it as a proper job because,
Yes,
I'm sure what you're aware of working for yourself, you realise that
mm.
being your own boss is like, yeah, we can. I always say like, if I'm working for someone else, and you give me like these are the rules or these are
Yeah,
the boundaries, and then I will just like I'll push and I'll be like really good and I'll stay
mm.
right in them and I'll maybe push the edges a little bit.
Yeah,
Whereas when I'm working for myself, the guardrails come off and I go, ah!
yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah.
And there's so much creativity, and it's like being able to harness that is where the sweet spot is, and I haven't quite managed it yet. So,
I think so. I think you like yourself because you're quite a creative person. It's. I go down a lot of rabbit holes, or I get quite excited, and sometimes
mm,
that derails me from the actual task in hand.
yes,
Because someone either present me with another idea, or have you thought about this, or have you thought about going in this direction?
mm,
And so yeah, so you get super excited and try and yeah, it's like you say, trying to harness yourself and keep yourself in a set of boundaries is quite hard when you're working for yourself, especially if it's a startup, it's something new, it's exciting. It's a hard way to, like you say, set them boundaries to keep yourself moving forward in the right direction.
yeah. There's always like little
Mm.
shiny objects, isn't there? And I think if you're like, oh,
Like a magpie, yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what's that? Yeah.
Well, I hadn't
Mm.
thought about that, but maybe that's the best idea ever. Why haven't I been
Mm.
doing that business all my life? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, calm down, Jason. So
Yes.
I've got a waiting list now. So I just add it to
Oh right. Okay.
I'll add it to the list. So it's just
Yeah.
projects, and it's got to sit on there, and then maybe I can reflect on it. But
Okay.
I'm trying to be like really intentional with like goal setting. And one of
Oh,
the
good.
things that I
Yeah.
did at the start of the year was like I put out a bit of a shout on Instagram
Mm.
and in my like network of and we basically set up like an accountability group. So it's just a
Mm.
WhatsApp group with like-minded people who want to achieve stuff,
Yeah.
and it's all obviously all free. And we just set Q1 goals and some accountability, some forfeits if we didn't achieve
Yeah.
them. And yeah, it's been awesome. And like it's been great to
Mm.
be able to help encourage other people in achieving stuff. So
Mm.
we've got like people quitting vaping, losing weight, like
Okay.
doing all this stuff. And then for me, it was like my main one was getting a lot of episodes published for the podcast, because I started
Yeah.
this like a year ago,
Okay.
and as we speak now, there are five episodes or whatever. So
Okay.
long story short, yeah, I needed that. Accountability to actually do it, because all I was doing was just getting distracted by other things all the time. And you know, you might be similar to me, and like, I'm sure your Instagram feed is full of like ideas and like, hey, you stop doing
Yeah.
this. Think about doing this. Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. Sign up
That-
to this course now, and you're like, oh, okay. So you start flicking through. It's a bit. I call it doom scrolling at times. I found at the moment the way I get distracted is I've got a spare 5 minutes while I'm making a cup of tea or something, and I'll get my phone out, open Instagram, then I'll turn around and it's 25 minutes later, and I'm like, how have I
yeah.
lost that kind of track of time? But on that topic what he's talking about, there is. I'll have to get you finding the information on this, but there is actually out there where you can log into. I think it's for mainly ADHD people, but there is, how I'm going to describe this. There is basically you can log on like a Teams meeting, but no one says anything, but you just log on and all your screens come up and people just watch you working. So it was designed for people that work remotely quite oftenly, and found that they felt quite isolated, but they got distracted quite easily. But by joining this group, you can accountability, and everyone's on the screen, everyone can see you working. So there is groups out there that you can join. I thought it sounded a bit weird
Right.
at the start,
I'll have
but
to.
tell you what you want to look at, and this is sometimes I'm sat in a van in just outside of Bristol in a place called Clevedon, and
Right.
I run off a thing called Starlink, which is
Okay. Yeah.
really smart, and basically it allows me to basically work or do these things from anywhere really in the country. You can pay for remote or you can pay for roaming. It's great. It's pretty. Don't get me wrong. It's about 70 quid a month, but it is absolutely on fire. Literally anywhere you can go.
Wow.
So I was in the middle
Is
of it.
that Elon Musk thing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so basically, I've got like a battery pack that runs it in my van, and I was in the middle of Estelle where you get no phone signal, nothing, and I had
Sure.
Teams meeting after Teams meeting. It's rapid.
That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah. No, that's I mean, yeah, considering I'm at home with fiber broadband, I shouldn't
Yeah,
really have to do it, but there we go.
no,
But it's
yeah.
yeah, an interesting option.
Well, if you
I'll,
ever want to do a podcast from somewhere unusual, give me a shout and I'll just drop you the Starlink off, and you can off you go, take it away, and go have a bit of fun.
You are
So if you
full of
want to do
ideas.
that,
Yeah.
that's just there you go, shiny object. That's just, yeah, that's just opened your whole world to like, where can I do podcasts from? Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because it'd be quite cool to do it like I would love like remote locations, like either top of a mountain or in a gorge or somewhere just that bit unique of like, well, hello, today we're coming from blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I think so I did a few in-person podcasts and
Mm,
I really enjoyed it, but then I it was a lot of work.
right.
So for example, so the next one that's going to be out is with Matty Green, which is out on Monday. If people are listening now, this was probably like 6 weeks ago. But on that recording, so I went on site. It was just me.
Yeah.
All the recording equipment, video. So I was like producer, audio engineer, presenter, lackey, like everything.
Mm,
And it's fine, you know, because I'm kind of like I'm used to doing that stuff through my, my like when I was sound engineer. But of course, I've also got to be like the guest. It's making people feel relaxed and being the So I found that doing both of them was quite stressful, like flitting between the two. So I thought, okay, just while I'm getting going, I need to make this as easy as possible, just while I get my reps in.
mm,
So this is why I've merged to doing a lot more online, just so I can get like that ball rolling. That's one a week, one a week, one a week, keep it going. And then do the occasional ones on set. So I'm thinking maybe once a month. But then what I'll probably have to do is get maybe like a small team to help me on the
Yeah.
day, so that I can focus on being present for the guest
Yeah.
and, being chill. And then I've got like people that can make sure the camera's not switched off. Because that was another thing. My equipment failed on my first ever one on set. And
Oh no.
if you listen to anything about advice with like podcasts, always have a backup. That's the thing. Always have a
Yeah.
backup. And I was like prepping all my stuff, and I'd literally gone through hell and not high water to get this backup camera. And my guest sat there waiting. I was like, oh, he's waiting. And I'm like, don't need the backup. It's fine. So I left the backup in the fucking bag. And yeah, obviously it failed. And I lost like the last 20 minutes of it. So, but
yeah.
anyhow.
Yeah, that old plan B. They always say have a plan B, don't they? C and a D
Yeah.
if you can, but plan B, yeah. So can I ask quick, what's your goal with this podcast? What are you aiming to do? What are you striving to do?
I want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to connect. And I want to teach.
Okay.
I think.
Because there is that old saying, isn't there? You can learn from anyone in any situation. So I think another key someone taught me a long time ago is if you listen to learn and not to respond, it's quite a key thing to learn. It's a key. I think it's a key life skill. Really, if you can listen to learn and not respond, it's quite hard.
Yeah. Do you know, like, I've probably got like, as I've gained in confidence, I've probably got more chatty, because like the early ones, I was like, don't talk, don't interrupt, Jason, don't interrupt. And it was been a really good skill for me, actually. I've definitely become a better listener since starting doing this, because you go, right, if I'm not listening, I'm going to look like a dickhead. So like the stakes are really high. So it sort of forces you to be present with the guest. So yeah, so that's another thing. Like it's been a good skill for me to learn as someone who, can you tell, likes to talk about themselves a lot, to sort of switch it around and be like listening to someone else. Like, what can you teach me? But in the same breath, I am trying to be as natural as possible with it. So that's why I do look to like back and forth it a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you look at the quality of podcasts that are out there that are really like achieving quite high skill, it sounds very relaxed. The conversation flows, and that is quite hard to do in any situation, really. To be honest, especially if it's someone you don't really know or you're just getting to know. It's like you really wanting to prompt them kind of questions to get them answers out of them, but you need to make it, like you say, sound very natural at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I don't want to be an interviewer. I don't want to be a journalist. Like, I don't know. I just want to have conversations, and yeah, and
Yeah, I
obviously
think,
there's an
like you say,
element of.
some of
Sorry, go on,
some of
Tom.
the best conversations you have are either around like a dinner table or sat around somewhere just socialising. Some conversation, God, I wish I could record that conversation, because sometimes a natural conversation actually it delivers a lot better than, like you say, that interviewee of, right, I've got these 10 set of questions I'm going to ask you.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah, and that's what I did enjoy about doing, for example, that in-person one we did, the one I did with Andy, because we ran for 4 hours, and it was
Wow.
amazing. Because I don't know if you said there's
Right.
2 parts, so we just sat opposite. It was this desk here, but I turned it into like a little table. And we're just like, obviously we had breaks, but 4 hours, and it was like an amazing conversation for both of us, because we were friends, but we weren't that close. And since that's been recorded, we've become like really close. And
Okay.
and there's just been this knock-on effect where, and that's what I find so amazing, and that's why I love the medium and podcasts in general. Like, you know, I had like a difficult few years, which you know about, and
Yeah.
you know, and I've been single now for 3 years. I've been on my own and doing a lot of self-introspection and work on myself and all the rest of it. And a big part of that, in spending a lot of time on my own, has been being able to listen to podcasts,
Yeah. Hugely, yeah.
because it just feels like there's someone else in the room.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, so, you know, so if I'm doing my jobs and going doing the washing up and the sort of mundane stuff, and obviously it's nice to be present and, you know, just not have stuff in your ear all the time, but also it can just help sort of like, wow, I'm learning something, and it kind of is mimicking this feeling of being with your mates.
I think so, yeah. One thing I'd like to say, you're looking really well, by the way.
Thank you. That's kind of you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you.
Yeah, you're looking really well. But I think the key that you're saying then is like it's being able to be comfortable with your own company, especially if you spend a lot of time by yourself. And like you say, going back to what you said about you and Andy, it's like when do you ever get the opportunity just to sit down with somebody with no other distractions going on? You're not in a pub, you're not in a bar, no family. He's got kids, no other distraction. Just to be able to sit there and let that conversation flow. I think is key to a lot of things of being able to digest how your life is going, what you're doing, like you say, what goals you're setting. But it's a real kind of rare opportunity to be able to do that, and you find it harder and harder, especially in the world that we're in, with so many distractions, so much going on. Everyone's running at 100 miles an hour. To be able to just sit down for a few hours and just have I always call it a chinwag with somebody is quite special and unique.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, when I was speaking to a guest that's hopefully coming on next week, and I said, "Oh, do you fancy having a chat sometime?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, defo." And like, I sent it in the calendar invite, and he's like, "What? We're recording it? You want to talk like?" And because I called it a chat, he's actually a
Yeah.
podcaster.
Oh wow.
Quite successful. He's had Ed Sheeran on. But he was like, you want to chat? Oh, you want to chat?" And I was like, yeah. I was like, "Do you want to chat?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, yeah." I was like, all right. He's like, yeah. It's like, but it's, you know, but I was like, well, I don't like really calling it. I just try and keep it relaxed. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, there's a lot about me there. So, what about, let's talk a bit more about business. What was your first business?
First real business I've had, to be honest, I've been stopped and started. So basically, through my 20s, I just worked and travelled really. I just wanted to get out of where I lived.
Where was
Really
that?
loved my whole town. Really good. Come from Brigg, little place in Lincolnshire. Loved my town. But just decided to get out, and I did that, and then I just kind of like it just gathered momentum and worked in hospitality, which I think everybody should have to do. I'm a big believer that you should at least do 1 month in hospitality, working behind a bar, and it teaches you a whole, how can I put this, a whole way of learning to deal with so many different people. And it really sets you and pushes your boundaries of understanding rudeness, kindness, empathy. You want to help some people, you want to chuck some people out. So I do believe it should be a rite of passage for a lot of people to work behind a busy bar and then come out the other side of it. And I think it gives you a lot of understanding of the amount of different human characters there is out there. So I did that, really worked in hospitality for a bit, travelled a bit, lived in a few different places, which was quite nice. I always used to get quite itchy feet after a couple of years. So I used to go live somewhere for a couple of years, really enjoyed it. I loved kind of like reinventing yourself or like finding another community. And then lived there for a couple of years and I was like, oh, right, what's next? So that a bit. So that was mainly through the 20s. First real business was, me and my mate had a ski season. We worked on a ski season in a hotel and my mate was the ski tech. And we used to go around and knock on basically all the private chalets and say, look, we can kind of do it cheaper than they can in town. So we used to do a midnight flit where we used to run over it when it's dark, pitch black, pick up the skis, run back to the hotel. And we used to, my mate Craig used to do a few like skis. That was the first kind of inkling of a bit of an entrepreneurial stuff. There's a few others that I can't really mention because I might get in trouble with past employees. But yeah, always something on the go, earn a few quid. But yeah, it was only in my 30s really. When I hit 30s, I was like, right, if I'm going to have to do something, I really need to like kind of, someone taught me once, he's play hard in your 20s, work hard in your 30s, and slow down in your 40s. So that's kind of been my mantra to where I'm hopefully heading to. So I hit 30 and I was like, right, if I'm going to do something, I really need to do something. And I was lucky enough to start Eskfest at that time and have the opportunity to start something like that. And I was very lucky. My partner, Evie, who I've been with for a good 8 years now, was lucky enough to engage in the mad idea of starting a small festival in the back end of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that kind of, once I started that, it really got me kind of thinking of like, okay, this is good. I really enjoy this and kind of enjoy that, being my own boss, working for myself. So that's where it really got started. And that's when we when I opened a cocktail bar in Leeds with a good friend of mine, Ellis. That was really good. And then I used to do a lot of freelance work for a couple of companies working on larger festivals, so like running bar operations, staffing, and so on. So yeah, I had a really good like boost. And at the time, I was quite lucky that my fixed costs in life weren't great. I didn't really have to earn much to have a really quite a nice lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's changed as you grow up. You get a mortgage and things become a bit more real. So it kind of gets you that point where you realize there's a kind of a fixed amount of money you need to make a month. So it kind of changes a bit. And it does put pressure on you as self-employed, as you know, running a business. There's not just you. There's staff to pay. There's bills to hit. There's no one really tells you that when you embark on a business. It's all exciting and shiny. And everyone seems to like put the wind behind you. But I'd have wished that at some point someone had really sat me down and gone, look, we really think you're doing a really good thing here, but these can be what can trip you over in 6 months, 12 months time. And it's just understanding simple things like cash flow, VAT. It's just these things that not a lot, you don't really get taught until you're in it.
No.
And then it's like, well, I'm in it, and it can be quite blindsided. So still, and then I think to me at the moment is my employment pays me quite well. So it's a bit of a hard one to leave. Once you get into that,
it's the trap.
It is. Once you dangle that carrot and you see it drop in your bank every month, you're like, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can afford that. Or, oh, I could treat myself. I've got a little bit of expendable income this month. You're like, And then they prompt another carrot in front of you. You go, well, if you do this, we can give you a bit of a, do you know what I mean? And it is how society is pretty much run these days is get a job, get a mortgage, let's dangle that carrot and see you at 65, which absolutely petrifies me at the same time.
Why?
I just read a really interesting article once about a guy who was a banker, really successful banker, worked all his life, went through all the ranks, up and up, got a wife, got kids, but never really saw them due to the fact that he was working all the time. And then he got to 65, which was great, had £1 million in the bank pension, but was absolutely knackered. He hadn't hardly any friends. His family didn't like him anymore. Kids didn't talk to him. And it gave me a bit of a sudden reality that I don't really want to get to that age and it'd be nice to have a house paid off and have a bit of money in the bank, but not really done anything to really. I always say if I ever was on my deathbed, God bless, I'm not yet, and hopefully a good few years yet, but I like some stories to tell or to have something to be able to say that I've achieved or done, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I've done, like I did the whole, I had a very well-paid job when I was in my 20s.
Yep.
And very similar maybe to what you were talking about there.
What was that, Jason?
What was that, sorry?
What did you do? Sorry.
I was, do you know Coniston Corporate by any chance?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a company in Coniston, and they do workwear and embroidery and uniforms and printed T-shirts and printed like mugs and stuff like that. So, and I joined them as like the first sales person, and then I sort of like worked my way up and become sort of his right-hand man, sales manager, and I was there for 7 years. And it was sort of, I got a lot of big accounts. And I did very well out of it. I had a brand new company car, Land Rover, and all that sort of stuff. But I was just really unhappy. And, the sort of the typical thing. And I had a house in Ulverston, just on the outside of Ulverston, semi-detached, brand new car, girlfriend, dog, yada 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 yada. And I was like, I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And I was drinking a lot, and and taking drugs and all the rest of it. And I was like, there's got to be something more, And I was just obsessed with the idea of traveling. Thankfully, because I was
Right. Okay.
working and earning a decent living, I was able to do a couple of nice holidays a year and go on exotic places.
Mm.
But you're only there for 2 weeks at most. And
Yeah.
so I decided, yeah, fuck it, fuck the money, and everything. So I split up with my girlfriend at the time. I quit the job and sold the house, and then I
Wow.
went off traveling for 11 months around the world. And that was obviously that was amazing.
Yeah.
But the other side to that is I've never, since that moment in time, my income has never been stable or near that level ever.
Yeah.
So the flip side is, and you've got to do these things, right? You've got to learn them. It's like the business
Yes.
thing, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
with hindsight, I could have gone right. Because when I went off traveling around the world, I don't mind saying, like, I'd managed to put like 30 grand, I had like 30 grand in the bank. I was 26. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all the knowledge I have now, and I probably had the skills then, but I'm like, why didn't I just start like an ecom business? Why didn't I just like do
Yeah.
drop shipping? Or
Yeah.
like I could have,
Yeah.
if I had a bit of accountability, and I could have just started that business, and then I could have gone traveling as well. And I
Yeah.
did have that idea at the time, and I messed around, and that was when I started my first business. But do you know what? I just wanted to party. I just wanted to get wrecked and have fun.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
did that. And obviously, you've got to be kind to yourself, and that's fine. But
Well, I think it's a bit of a rite of passage as well, because if you
yeah,
don't get it out of your system and you don't do that, you forever think, I should have gone and done that,
mm,
which I think in hindsight is worse than not. Do you know, if that makes sense? Of all the like kind of step backwards it takes you, if that makes sense, because you've, like you say, you got yourself to a stage in life where you got good money, nice house, girlfriend, dog. Anyone else would be quite envious and think, but yeah, do you know what I mean? You gave all that up, you're using a really good position, but ultimately, if you're not happy and you've got this itch to do something, you really do need to do it, or it will make you unhappy for a long time.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely, and 100%. I'm glad I did it, and yeah, it's just your path, isn't it? I'm so grateful because, like, when I do reflect, I'm like, wow, I've done a lot of shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you
If
know,
you write a list,
yeah, lots of different industries and stuff, and yeah, and
mm,
that's cool. But I suppose at some point in time, it would be nice to like be able to establish like
yeah,
a decent
yeah,
financial foundation to go, hey, look at all this stuff I did, and look, I'm rich.
yeah. It is. It's funny, isn't it? How money is so integral to everything you do. There's no real easy path anymore, or
Mm,
cost. Like, I've got an ambition. Me and Evie both got an ambition to buy a bit of land, put a like small like dwelling, really off grid, sustainable, and just be mortgage free.
mhm.
That's one of my goals at the moment, is just to become mortgage free, to allow me not to have to earn what I'm earning at the moment, just to keep moving forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for
Mm.
sure. Where do you want to do that? In the lakes, I presume.
No, I'm not. Do you know what? I love the lakes. I've got a lot of ties, got lots of friends, but I'm not. I'm not. So me and Evie have also got an ambition next year, to just go off for 3 or 4 months. Still work remotely, but just try and work from somewhere else. We're thinking about Bangkok for 4 months.
Oh, nice.
Go position ourselves. Yeah, because we've just found it's really cheap living, good quality of life. I'd have to change my work schedule. I work this out. I'd have to actually start work at 3 in the afternoon, and
Okay.
not finish till 10 at night.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, that to be honest wouldn't be that bad, because I can still get out in the day, enjoy the day, but just turn life around a little bit and maybe challenge myself to do that, instead of No, just instead of being comfortable the way I am at the moment.
Yeah, that's fucking right, man. Get it done.
Yeah, well, you could like this if this like you say, if this can be your bread and butter and it can bring you an income in. You could do this from anywhere, really, anywhere you like.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the dream, to be honest. Yeah, if I could, I was thinking a certain Mr. Dawes could help me out with a van.
Yeah, we're gonna plug JD convert. Oh no, it's Roving now, isn't it? It's Roving Conversions.
Roving
If anyone needs a
Conversions.
van converted,
Yeah,
yeah, Roving Conversions.
I'll
Yeah,
put a little link in the show notes. But
brilliant.
yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that'd be cool. Like little studio set up in the back, and then you could
Yes.
just rock up.
Oh,
Where are you?
yeah,
I'm in fucking Paris, right? I'll be there in a day.
yeah. that would be absolute quality.
Mm.
Yeah, that is yeah. That's a good ambition to have and a good goal to
Be
set.
all right, that wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it'd be quite good fun that as well. I don't know how weird it would be by telling people get in the back of my van.
Yeah.
You might have to explain that before you get there. Just rock up, open your side door, go jump in. They'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, are you sure? Yeah, it's fine. Come on,
Get in the back.
yeah. Slogan of the catchphrase of your podcast: get in the back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a slightly less seedy visual when actually what I was thinking is if you imagine the back doors were open, up. That's what she said. And if you imagine the back doors are open, and then the camera is coming from the outside, and then obviously you got the natural light would light it up.
Oh,
and then the backdrop would be, the van. And
yeah, because you.
And obviously, I'd be in a beautiful location with perfect lighting. So
that's it. Yeah. Have you ever seen the pod things you can do where you can put them in and back, push them in and push them out of van?
No.
Have you ever seen them? So, like, if you can imagine, like, it's like I'd say like a pod, like a walled pod. But the basic, what you can do, you can get a van, let's say a Sprinter van, and then you can just roll them into the back of it, and it like becomes a camper van studio. But then you can take it out if you need to use your van for something else, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they're really interesting. So it'd be quite clever for something for you if you wanted to take like you say, because when you're doing podcasts, I guess you need kind of a bit of a quietness and like quite confined thing. But yeah, you could just rent a van for the day, chuck your pod in the back of it, and go off and do what you want, and then return the van without committing to buying a van.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, that's yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? And I think
that would be fun.
Do you know what I mean? And even the sound, like it's with the developments in AI and stuff and audio processing now, you don't really need that much. Like,
no,
even if you've got a bit of background noise, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to fix up.
Yeah.
What about do you have any encounters with AI? Do you use it, or?
Do you know what? I do, and it's this. When I asked the question, how you judged on your intelligence, I think that's now coming into play with AI. I just think, I think like ChatGPT is, I really love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a great tool if you use it correctly. I do believe it can be misused in terms of people just type it in and let it write it for them. But if you can kind of prompt it and manipulate it in a way, so if you've got the knowledge already and you understand the topic that you're trying to discuss with it, it is very useful. Where if you go in blind and say, can you write me an essay on Barrow Football Club over the last 20 years, it'll be able to give you something. But if you didn't go back and read over it and kind of try to learn from it, it can trip you up quite a bit. I've actually, on the bottom of my email, if I ever email you, there's this small line. I can't remember what it says, but it does say, I do use ChatGPT to answer emails on occasions.
Yeah.
But something it says on the lines of like, it's only to understand dialogue and open the conversation and for let everybody, both sides, understand the topic in a bit more clearer understanding. Because I wouldn't say I'm not. I wouldn't say the most intelligent person, but I would say academically side of things, I'm not the smartest. I've learned a lot over the last, oh good God, 6-7 years. My writing of emails has got a lot better. My understanding of punctuation has got a lot better. Evie will tell you, when I first met Evie, I used to message Evie because Evie, oh, she won't let me tell you this, but Evie's a very smart, intelligent girl. And she used to be like, do you know what a full stop is? Or a comma? It might help you out. Or a paragraph, every now and again. It's because I think I'm a bit like you, just my mind's running that fast. When I'm trying to communicate with someone, I hammer it down into an email, but I've now learned to go back over myself and read it and stuff like that. But I think AI is. I think you're just going to have to. I think we're all going to have to get on board with it. And I think people who slate it are just either scared of it or don't understand it to what it can do. But don't get me wrong, it's going to be quite a scary tool in the future if it is not regulated or kind of given boundaries, because it is going to be, it is the future, it is the way forward, and it's going to take a lot of people by surprise if they don't get on board with it quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, I fully agree. And
are you a fan of it?
I love it, mate. Absolutely
yes,
love it.
So do I.
Yeah. So I was really intentional. When? Maybe like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, or whatever. And I was like, I want to be in the top 1% at this, knowing this.
Oh, wow.
I'm probably not in the top 1%, maybe top 5%. But I was like, I just want to be awesome at using this tool.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
But not for like an external thing, but like for myself. I was just like, I want to really learn this. So I changed, like, little hack, by the way. So I changed, like, my default tabs would always open on ChatGPT.
Whoa! Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Like, I'm well techie, mate.
I need to come and sit down with you, Jason. I'm going to come and have a masterclass off you.
Yeah, I'll
come through. Have a cup of tea.
Yeah, happy to help. I'm always like messing around with people's desktop setups and saying, "Oh, you want to do this?" and you want to, oh, do you want it so that automatically, when you turn your computer on, it opens up a certain amount of tabs and yeah. I'm always like jack of all trades, me, master none, IT manager.
Join the club. Yeah. It's a funny phrase, that, isn't it? It is a funny phrase, but it's like, I just think it's skill diversity. I think people who put you in a bracket, oh, you're the jack of all trades, master of none. Don't get me wrong, if you become a master of one, I take my hat off to you. If, like, academics, people like that, I really do admire people who dive into one subject and that is their life's work is phenomenal. I went to see a friend of mine last night. Actually, it'd be really good to get on your podcast. A guy called Martin Jacoby. He's a classic. What is he? He's a classically trained musician, and we went to watch him in Manchester last night. Where was it? It's based at a piano shop, Stein Piano Shop somewhere. And he writes his own music, and he also plays other bits of music. But he's basically played in Lowe's band, which is quite basic for him. And he's always said, if you go on Spotify and watch, like, see his ratings on Spotify, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
So that's
Martin, I went to watch him play last night. Yeah, Martin Jacoby, unbelievable classic. Jacoby. So it's I think Jacoby. I'll send you a link to him. But anyone listening to him, if you're not into classical music or piano music, go listen to this guy. He's absolutely phenomenal. But it's just the way he presented himself last night was just phenomenal. So every time after he played a piece, he would get up and have a chat about the next piece, and you could just tell this guy was just really intelligent and, do you know what I mean, honed his craft and mastered his craft. But then you get him outside of that and he's great fun. Absolutely funniest guy you'll ever meet. Like, really funny, easy to get on with, great conversation. But it's just like, he's just honed his skill at that. But yeah, it blew me away last night of how he could present it, and his knowledge on it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, musicians are a really good example with that. And, I've got like a bit of a strange relationship with music these days, because like my early years was all about music, and I was kind of seen as like, if anyone's going to make it in the industry, it'll be Jason. And
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, there you go. So you didn't know that about me.
I never knew that
So
about
if
you.
you, yeah, but if you knew me, if you asked someone who was at school with me or at college, they'd be like, you
Mm.
know, oh, he was going places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that all changed really. And and then you know, I started the venue, and then it's sort of you know, so my
Yeah.
music career sort of changed a little bit then, and obviously like the venue, like that didn't work out. So I do have this
Mm.
kind of weird connection to music where I'm kind of like there's some pain there for me, like because it didn't work
Got
out,
you.
and also it's sort of
Mm.
it's like I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I've had to sort of reinvent myself in different areas. So like
Yeah.
yeah,
I understand that.
so
Yeah.
to move away from that, you know, just being like really good at music, I've started, you know, learning to do websites and all other stuff or whatever. And I think that's cool. But
Can I ask what do you actually do, Jason? Sorry, I never really asked you. What is your, as you call it, your employment?
yeah, so I manage a marketing agency. So
Okay.
yeah, and when
Do you
I say
specialise in anything?
manage, the yeah, I wear a lot of hats. So
Okay.
yeah, we do all sorts. So it's mainly in like Google Ads, PPC, SEO, web development, but
Okay.
we're also at the moment we're launching a new piece of software, like a SaaS product for SEO, and I'm sort of project lead in
Okay.
doing that. So that's quite a big project that we've got on. So yeah, a bit of everything really. So yeah,
Do you enjoy it?
do you know what I do?
Do you enjoy it?
I do.
Oh wow. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. There's times when it's a little bit difficult or whatever, and sort of being like the guy that everyone can rely on all the time, or you know, or just get Jason to do
Yeah.
it or whatever. And that's kind of what I built my career on, being useful.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
but as you might know yourself, that can be like stressful at times. Um, but yeah, I often think like, you know, if I did manage to do the dream and take the podcast on the road or something, whether I would fully
Mm.
wean myself off the teat of employment, or
That's a great expression.
or whether, because I imagine, you know, they would probably want to keep me, so whether they would allow me to do some sort of remote
Yeah.
work, so I could allow, you know, that would be the dream for, you know, because I actually do enjoy it. I've got quite a lot of
Yeah.
freedom in it.
It's,
I've got a good relationship with my bosses.
yeah. Are you good at delegating?
Yeah, I, yeah, I'm
Oh,
better
that's
than I
good.
used to be. Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty good these days.
Yeah.
Do you know, that's a really good question.
'Cause it's that old. Yeah, because it's that old trait in it of, well, do I delegate or I'll just do it myself? It'll be quicker. But
Yeah.
then your work piles up, your to do list piles up,
Mm.
and it is hard to delegate. I do agree. It's a hard thing to master, really,
Yeah,
in
it
my
really
opinion.
is. And do you know, I've never thought about
Mm,
that until you've just asked me. This was something I've struggled with for
mm,
years. And only
yeah.
you asking me now, I was like, oh, actually, I'm quite good at it.
Oh, good.
I've probably
There
gone
you
the
go.
other way now, like where I'm like,
Yeah.
or like, you know, I'll outsource something, you know, because you know I have a few other little projects and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'll get a freelancer to do that, and then I'm like, I've
Yeah.
not really learned it myself yet. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, if anyone's listening,
Mm,
the thing is with outsourcing and delegation, you can only outsource it once you've learned it yourself. And
very
I
true.
think because it's too easy to go, oh yeah, yeah, just do this or whatever. But
Mm,
without being awful, if you're like, yeah, if you're the manager or whatever, you need to understand it before you can outsource it. Because as well, you know, people will pull the wool over your eyes as well if you don't get it.
you do,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no, I
And
can't
I
do
think
that
as
because
well
oh
as,
no, no, it's this, and that. It's what? Oh yeah, no, no, you can't do it because this
yeah,
and that. But if you know it yourself, you can go, what are you talking about? I was like, you just do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or if you haven't set boundaries with them, in like what we was talking about earlier, they will push the boundaries. I've like say I've delegated out freelance work quite a
Mm,
lot, and then they're like, it comes back, and you're like, that's not really what I asked for. Yeah, but you didn't ask for anything
yes.
really. You didn't set me clear. You didn't set me clear questions and things to follow. I was like, well, I hope I didn't need to because you're the expert in this field. I'm not. I was hoping that you would guide me in a way and understand the kind of what I was
Yep.
getting at. But that's another hard trait as well, is to get people to fully understand what you want without sounding
Yeah.
patronizing or being overbearing. And that's the other hard thing, is when you delegate, you try not to overbear or look over the shoulder what they're doing all the time, because you want, like, we've all had it in our career, we all want to be that dispensable employee that everybody turns to, which is no problem. Yeah, I can get that done, I can get
Yep.
that done. And I've 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 had job roles, and a job role I'm in at the moment, I will be, I've hands up, well underqualified for what I do, but I was that stubborn and determined. I was like, well, actually, no, I'm just going to go off and learn. I'm just going to learn how I have to do this job, and anything that comes to me that I don't know, I'll just say I'll come back to you, and go off and learn it. And that's how I've kind of honed my skill in what I'm doing now, really.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the sort of
Mm.
entrepreneurial kind of like skill that you need to have as well, that constant adaptation.
It is, yeah. I think who was it? What's his name? Richard Branson once, I think, quoted saying, "Never take a job that you can't do. Take the job and learn to do the job." So
Yeah.
yeah, never. If someone offers you a job that you're not qualified or capable of, is you shouldn't turn it down because you can't do it. If you think you've got the capability to
Hmm.
learn that, I think you should give it a go and have a go.
Well, yeah, the great example of that would be I set up my it was a social media marketing business. That when this was during lockdown,
Okay.
whilst I was trying to keep
Hmm.
Oddfrog going and do a part-time
Bloody
job and
hell.
all, and I was like, right, I'll do social media because I'm good at that,
Yeah.
and that's how I started. And I remember someone saying, "Do you do websites?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
of course I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm all about the websites. I'd never done one.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I'd kind of
Wow.
half done my own from like a template or something.
Yeah.
Fucking right, I do
That's,
websites,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
so then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, right, let's go learn about websites, and
Yeah.
YouTube, and just totally self-taught, and
Mm.
and now I look at it and I go, like, I'm managing in this agency. All of
Mm.
my skills are self-taught,
Yeah.
and I know everything. Like, no, I don't. Like, that sounds really big-headed, but like, I have to know a bit about everything. And it's like, fucking hell, like, that's kind of
Yeah.
amazing. Like, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, like, yeah, and just, yeah, those skills, I'm
I think,
like,
yeah.
I've literally just learnt them myself. And
I think that, yeah, draws me down to a good. My dad said to me once, on the topic of listen to learn, is like, when you talk to people, learn something about them, like take something away, because then it allows you to open a conversation further with somebody else. So let's say I met a deep sea diver in a pub in Barrow, and then I learned that you can only go to certain depths before you have to come up. It's this, it's that. If I ever met another deep sea diver somewhere in the world, I could have a good conversation with him because I know a little bit more than he would imagine I knew, and then that opens a conversation more. To that, I think that's the art of conversation, is knowing a lot about a little bit can be very useful.
mm,
So yeah, I find that's how a conversation can lead to a longer conversation. If you, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know a little about it, and you ask a couple of questions back, and you can see it in the face, like, but you're not a deep sea diver. How do you know that? I was like, well, I just met Barry a couple of months ago, and he chatted about it and stuff like that. But I would like, yeah, like you say, what you're really interested in, what you're talking about at the moment is, like you say, you self-taught everything. So like you say, this agency, you've gone out and learned it all. It's how you then, have you ever thought of, like, you ever looked at other jobs that are the same as yours, and then you look at the list of requirements they ask for? So qualified in this, have you got a degree here? Have you got that? And
nope.
you're like, no, but I can still do the job.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's getting past that first hurdle of recruitment. We're saying, well, you haven't got a degree. I know I haven't got a degree, but I've been working in this industry for 6, 7 years now. So that should really qualify. Well, no, I know, but we're looking for someone with a degree. And you're like, well, just backwards to me
Yeah.
sometimes. Really confuses me.
Yeah. I've never landed. I'd never landed a job without kind of either being headhunted or
Yeah.
like knowing a guy. So like,
Yes.
yeah.
Same here.
So like, how I got this job was I was doing my website business after all the venue stuff had finished, and I was just doing my website stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting enough income, and I asked a guy, and I was like, "I don't suppose you know anyone who's like." No, I think I just said to him like business was bad or something. He was like, "Sure, a job." And I was like, "Well, he's like, it was like I might know a guy who usually like always like you're good in sales, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I used to do sales." Right. Well, I'll see if he's got any openings. Oh yeah, right. Head up there next week. So I just started cold
Bloody hell.
calling. So I'd gone from like
Mm.
this business owner and all the rest of it, and then just literally into this agency, just like on the phones, just and it was like pretty brutal. But then when I was there, it was like, oh, you don't suppose you know how to like fix this computer? Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I just do this. Da, 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 da. But I'm like a chief fixer as well, and I've got to look at that in my relationships because I'm always looking to fix. So and then it was like, do you know about spreadsheets? And I was like, fuck yeah. I am
Love
the
spreadsheets, by
spreadsheet
the way.
king.
Mate, I absolutely love spreadsheet. Anybody comes with an idea, I'm like, let's get a spreadsheet out. Like, what? Like, all starts with a spreadsheet. And then when you're like, so the guy I work with, Chris Scott, really intelligent guy. He's our commercial director. And he's been working with Excel spreadsheets for, how old is he now? He reckons 30 odd years. He says, I still only know 10% of what a spreadsheet can do, Tom. I was like, pardon? It's like, I still only know about 10% of what Excel can actually do. Because when you dive into it and you understand, do you know what I mean, learning how to do the coding of it and prompts, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
And and the beauty of spreadsheets is it for me, even though it's kind of like probably seems very uncreative, it's a great example of like of having like all the options, like being good at something, as in like with the sheets. Sorry, Google Sheets, because I use Google Sheets or Excel.
I'm a fan of Google Sheets as well.
I love cloud,
I'm not averse to it yet.
But anyways, right. So and but almost sometimes I can create these absolute monstrosities of custom formulas and different tabs and interlinking, and then I go, what the fuck have I done? Like, and then sometimes I need to just go back to basics and go, just put it in a list, Jason, and maybe like, So it's like,
I always think, if someone jumped on your sheets, could they use them? That's the way I always try to look at it. It's like, if you passed away tomorrow and someone had to go into your cloud and pull out a sheet, would they understand it? And I reckon 9 times out of 10, no. Because I do what you do. I go down that many rabbit holes, think it's making my life easier, but it's actually makes it a bit more complicated.
If they watch the video that I'd made on on like the end tab of the little instructions, navigate to sheet 1, press filter view. But sometimes I have to do that for myself because I'm like, fuck, what did I do here?
That's brilliant. I had a really funny, when I was younger. Can you remember the old roller faxes that used to sit on people's desks, and if you needed a contact, you go, find
the Rolodex thing.
You started Rolodex, So I always had, when I was younger, people say, well, what do you want to be when you're older? I was like, a Rolodex. Like, what? Like, a Rolodex. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I just want to be able to know a lot of people and be able to put people with people, connections, if that makes sense. So someone says, oh, I need to do this. I'm like, oh, actually, I know someone who'll help you out. We've got a good character. Yeah. So here's their number and off you go. So, I always kind of find a good... Everybody's got a talent. We've got a bit of a funny phrase at Eskfest, actually. If you're weird and wonderful, we'll make you comfortable.
I love that.
So we get a lot of like cool like people that in the real world would seem a bit weird, or do you know what I mean, not quite fit in society, or we've got a bit of a quirk, but they come and volunteer at Eskfest, and we've just created this really like kind of bit of a magical like group of people that have, and it's lovely to see it. I think it's one of the proudest things about me and Evie say about Eskfest is like we've joined up so many mates that wouldn't have known each other unless Eskfest had happened, and that's really nice, and it's a really nice kind of thing. But yeah, everybody's got a talent. You've just got to kind of understand everyone's a bit different. Everyone's a bit awkward. Everyone's got anxiety. You just if you just can make them comfortable, give them a nice time, feed them. It always brings out the best in people, I think.
Yeah, and whilst we're on that, might I add that Eskfest is great. It's really awesome. You've created something extremely special, and something that was somewhat formative to me as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Which, fuck it, we'll go down this thread. I've mentioned like a little bit to do with. Can we keep this in? I don't know. Well, okay. So
Let's try it.
I'd spoken a little bit about psychedelics, and what was interesting was when the first time I came to Eskfest, obviously you know.
We don't condemn any drug taking at Eskfest.
Yes.
I'd just like to put that out there.
Exactly. So, and the first time I came, John had invited me, or I can't remember. I think it was John. I had a free ticket, or Kieran, or something, and I'd went along. And at the time, I was going through a really bad time, and break up and the rest of it. And I was having this like summer of just being like getting fucked up all the time, not really knowing where I'm going. My business was struggling. I'm back home with my parents. And anyways, and I'd gone along to the festival, and I just had a great time. I had a really great time.
Yeah.
And
they had a good after party, didn't we, as well?
Man, it was so fun. And anyways, the following day, that Monday, I woke up and I felt like crap, obviously. And I'd taken some psychedelics that weekend, and it was the first time. Now, normally my response, if I woke up like rough from a festival, would be, God, I feel a bit ropey. I'm definitely going to have like a bottle of wine tonight when I get home to like take the edge off. That was always my
right.
And obviously that's the way it becomes problematic with alcohol. And it was the first time ever that I woke up and I was like, well, I feel like shit. That was awesome. I think I'm just not going to drink or take drugs again. And it was like,
wow,
this total change, like just like a light switch had come on. And I don't know, like, if you know much about like the therapeutic side of psychedelics.
There is, I think it's got a bad reputation, but until you actually understand it, it can be very useful at the same time.
Yeah, and I think if you're sort of stuck in a bit of a rut and you're looking for like a new way of thinking, and I think it could have been a combination of things. I think there was the connection, of a good weekend that helped, but it was just like it was all of a sudden I was like, I felt just so grateful, and I was like, even though I had all this stressful stuff in my life, I was like, there's so much potential. Like, why would I be wasting my life like getting messed up all the time and stuff? And I was like, it was kind of just like, so I thought I'd mention that because it just so happened to be at Eskfest, and that's it. After that day, that was the first time I went 9 months without drinking.
Bloody hell. Top effort. I think I'm on a bit of a, like you say, I'm on a bit of a journey of that now. I'm having, after this weekend, because we're down in Bristol for a birthday party, I'm going to have 3 weeks off. And I quite enjoy it. I've never really been a big drinker. So I've never really drunk lots through the midweek. I'd only really drink at weekends, but I started slowly noticing now as I get a bit older, the cliche of it. It started definitely slowing me down. If I go out for a good weekend, I won't feel right till about Tuesday, Wednesday, which is quite scary. And when I don't, I feel a lot more clarity. I feel more on the ball. I'm more ambitious. My goals seem to start like hitting targets and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's something we'll definitely look at. Of maybe giving it up for a while. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I don't imagine I would be doing the podcast if I was still drinking. I certainly wouldn't have
No.
got into my training as much as I had the last 12 months. So yeah, so for me, it's it's been amazing. But yeah, sorry, I've got
Right. Okay.
gone off
Interesting.
talking
It's like, I
about me
think
again.
no, definitely. I think it's no. Do you know what? I'll say it's quite funny, but everyone says it. I've got a bit of a knack when I have a conversation with people. They seem to talk. I get them to talk a lot
You
more
should be a
about them than
hairdresser.
myself. Not with my hair, mate. No, I'll get
That's
laughed
what
out.
happens when I go to the hairdresser. I'm like, why the
I don't
fuck
have
did I
much of
tell
it
her
left,
that?
so I'm not lucky like you. Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. I'd like to do something like similar to what you're doing in terms of like a podcast maybe one day, because I really do enjoy talking to people and just letting them finding things out about them, and maybe like coming back and talking a bit more about that subject or letting that subject roll a little bit longer. Because as you do that, you find people who open up to you more. Especially, I'm not afraid to ask tough questions as well, which I think is people are now in society struggling more and more to do. It's like when you so it's a general conversation. Oh, hello, mate. How are you? Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. And it just stops there. There's not like you never just go, oh, yeah, well, I've had a really rough week actually, mate. I'm pretty depressed. I'm quite anxious. Been drinking quite a bit recently. I've had some quite dark thoughts and stuff like that. No one really ever opens up like that. And I think we've just trained ourselves as humans in society today just to keep things bottled up. We don't want to burden other people with that kind of conversation. So I've quite admit I've done a couple of therapy sessions, which have kind of helped in a way in some respects. But I always have that notion: you never really ever say what you want to say to another human in a fear of judgment, or they think, oh, he's a bit weird, and he's thinking a bit weird there what he's saying. So you never really do open fully to another human. Do you know what I mean? It's very rare that you spill everything out. So yeah, there's always boundaries set, I
Yeah, I
think.
think depends on the person. Like I would say sometimes that I'm probably quite good at it in terms of like sharing, but it's managing like
Okay.
sometimes I've got to be careful like I don't overshare. I mean, like this is the man who's like
Okay.
broadcasting his thoughts to the world on camera. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, with certain people, I definitely could be a bit more open. And like, oh, what's that little resentment I'm like stuffing down that I don't notice. So
Yeah.
so I've done my best myself to do a lot of self work over the last 3 years. I've done like a little bit of therapy like in that about 2 years ago, and then the rest of it's all been just done
Okay.
myself. Reading books and journaling and stuff like that. Um, and like that self awareness is such a good skill to sort of like them, and because if you've never done
Yeah.
it before, if you don't understand it, you're like, well, what the fuck? But it's like the more you do it, and if you do, if you do practice meditation, that helps, and just try and notice patterns, and like the better you get at them, you're like, why is it I feel that way? Oh, what is that what's that little pit in my stomach? Why is that? Why is this? Why? I'm always asking why. And
Yeah.
like
I think. Yeah. I think as well. I think it's a skill that not many people realise you should be good at. It's being able to do fuck all, and I mean, fuck all. Can you sit and do nothing? Just have a cup of tea on a couch and sit and do nothing. It's a skill that I've only started to, because I'm a bit like you, Jason. My brain runs at 100 miles an hour. I've always got constant ideas on the go. Always like trying to strive and constantly do stuff. And then only recently I've worked out that it's quite nice sometimes to just sit and have a cup of tea and just not. I guess you get it with, you do a bit more like meditation and stuff, but just the ability to not worry about you haven't done this, or right, oh God, I've just spent 2 hours sat
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
couch with a cup of tea.
like,
What am I doing?
I would
Come on,
call that
sort
like
yourself out.
stillness. So seeking out stillness. There's
Oh
actually
yeah.
a book called "Stillness is the Key" by Ryan Holiday. It's really good.
Sorry, say that
Stillness
again.
is the
Stillness is the
key.
key. I'm
I'll
gonna
write
write
this
that
down
down.
as well because I'll put it in the notes. He's
Yeah.
one of my favorite authors.
Stillness is the key.
He does
Right,
Ryan
okay, what's his name?
Holiday.
Sorry.
So he's got sort of made Stoicism like fashionable. And
Right, okay.
yeah, and he reads a lot of his books as well. So if you're into Audible like I am, then it's good. But the whole stillness thing is, it's like, well, what is stillness? It's like, so stillness could be when you're out for a walk and you've not got your headphones in and you're just listening to the birds or whatever. Stillness. Stillness can
Okay.
also be sat down and meditating. That's stillness. You with your cup of tea,
Right.
provided maybe the television isn't on or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like, that's stillness, and it's like carving out those parts in your day where you can stop the incoming, stop feeding data in, and just allow other stuff to come up.
Yeah.
So unless we have those things, this is what happens, isn't it? Like, all these emotions and stuff, and like, you never give your chance for your brain to just to breathe, and that's why people can't sleep, because then they go to bed and it's the first time they feel still. They go to bed and they go, I know, all this like trauma comes out. And also why a lot of people have good ideas in the shower, because it's the only time that they've not got the phone with them or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, carving out those moments is important. Certainly, if you're like you and I am, and our brains are always like firing.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and yeah, it's like you say, you're always constantly feeding data in, aren't you? You're always aware of your surroundings, what's going on, what you're doing next, like what I've got today. Right, I've got the. Do you know what I mean? It's. I'm going to give that book a good read. Actually,
I'll link you up. But like a little little tool that I'd sort of like developed for myself, and I'm calling it creative walking. Yeah. And it's a bit of a like. So if you ever go on a walk, right, you'll find that your best ideas often come out when you're walking, or solutions to problems will come when you're walking. But obviously, if you're, if you know anything about sort of mindfulness and being present, then some might say, well, you should go on a walk to enjoy the nature. You don't want to be thinking all the time, because that in itself can be a little bit kind of, you're not being in the moment. So what I don't do this all the time, by the way, because it's well neurotic and sprinkle of autism. But like, so I'll go out for a walk, and I'll mix it up, and I'll go back and forth between two different modes. So the mode one will be being present. So I'm walking, a bit like I'm walking meditation. So as I'm walking, I'm feeling the connection to the earth. I'm looking around. I'm looking at like the textures. I'm feeling the wind on my face. I'm being present. I'm in the moment. I'm not really thinking in that moment. But obviously, you can only do that for so long. Certainly, if you're not practiced at meditation, before mind starts wandering off. So what I'll do is I'll go, right, from here to that lamppost, or from here to whatever, that car, I'm going to be totally present with the sensations and sounds and everything. So I'll allow that. And then once I get to the car, I will allow the mind to go free. So once I get to that marker point, but the effect that has, by kind of like restricting your thoughts for a bit and then going, it's like this push-pull, like, of and it's just amazing. So it allows me to get like a little bit of enjoyment from a walk, from like enjoying the scenery, and then I'll be like, wow, business ideas. And then I'll go like, wow, this is amazing. I love thinking, but all these ideas, and then I'll go, oh, fucking hell, this is quite intense. Like, I need to slow down a bit. So I'll do it again. So I go, okay, right, back to being present with nature for the next like 100 yards. And it's almost like you're just allowing your mind to just rest. And then come.
Do you know what, Jay? I'm going to give that a go. I'll
Creative
report back to you
walking.
and let you
You
know.
heard it here first.
Yeah, that's it. I know there's a couple of people who do like kind of walking therapy. So instead of sat in a stuffy room, you actually go out on a therapy session with somebody, with a therapist, and you walk. But the whole intention as well is to get lost. Not get lost, like completely lost, but their intention is for you to get to the point where you're both kind of don't know where we are on this walk. Like literally, like, are we going right, left, next? And that supposedly then like de-stresses, because also when you're walking side by side, you're not actually face to face with somebody. So actually, conversation flows a lot better because you're not staring at this person when once you've asked them a question, be like, right, what, tell me what you think. It's yeah, and like you say, nature with current. So it's quite interesting. I've kind of did a bit of research into it, and it seems like a really kind of simple way of doing some therapy sessions. Because a lot of people say let's go outside, but exercise as well, and that element of maybe getting lost and like trusting that person that's with you.
I
So
would
yeah,
love to
that's
do
really interesting.
walking podcasts.
I like that. I am game for, if you want to do a walking podcast, if you want to try the first one out here, I am completely game
it's
for
just
that.
being able to. I'm trying to keep the visual thing. You know, because unfortunately, I think if you just do audio now, I just think you're fighting against the tide of video podcasts.
Could you then do a podcast where, let's say you got a GoPro or something with stability that was attached to you, so the people that are like watching it would have the visual of your walk, but they could only hear your voice in the background.
Yeah, there's definitely a way to do it, isn't there? You could get like you get like a 3D GoPro and hold it out or something, or just a general GoPro, couldn't you? But I suppose you'd want something that wouldn't make it feel too formal. Get John Dawes to fly a drone.
No. Yeah, I've had a few experiences with John Dawes' drone flying. So yeah, he's yeah, it'd be good to link up with that. So
I think we've got there plenty of things to look at then. So I will start to sort of bring this home now.
Okay.
What motivates you?
I think what motivates me, and this sounds a bit crazy, but I hate the word stupid. So I don't think anybody should ever be called stupid. I don't care what walk of life you've come from. If you've got no education, can't read, can't write, no one should be called stupid. I think it's something that's kind of, it grates me if I can actually call people out if people call other people stupid. And I think from a young age, I've never been academically bright. I've always been a sports person. So I was always like captain of my cricket team, captain of my football team, always just could excel quite to a good level of any kind of sport I picked up. So like I got a YTS contract for Scunthorpe United under 16s. I got like county and East of England hockey, like county badminton. So I was always kind of this sports person. So academically, I didn't really need to try, if that made sense. I never really went to school to learn. I just wanted to go play sport. Which didn't really stand me much good in as a later age. So I think what motivates me is to be, I won't say respect. I don't think respect is the word. It's just to prove that your background doesn't define you where you want to go. If you're willing to work hard, open up to connections, be kind, treat people the way you like to be treated, help people out without expecting things back. That's kind of motivates me, that hopefully, I don't want to use the word legacy either. I think that's a bit of I don't really know the word, but just leave a trail behind me that I can be judged on quite kindly. And I want to kind of make something of myself. I don't want to be working till I'm 65. I've given myself a retirement age of 45. Keep telling people this and people keep looking 45. At me or laughing at me. How old are you now? So I'm 39.
6 years. 6 years,
let's Jason.
Fucking go.
So when we bring this AI tool out, we've done it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what motivates me, just to
just to be, I think as well, to like allow me and Evie to have quite a nice lifestyle. We don't have an excessive lifestyle. I have a Ford Transit van, but we like to go out in the van. We can afford a few beers. We can afford to go to a few nice festivals, go on holiday. I think that's a big strive. Is just have quite a nice quality of life, but get to the point where I don't need a big income to live off. I'd like a big income. Don't get me wrong, Jason. If you offered me £1 million idea tomorrow, I'd jump at it. But yeah, I think that's what motivates me. Is just your background doesn't define. I think because I've always been, well, not called, well, I have been called stupid a few times. To kind of just get that, like, look, here I am. I've done all this. I've achieved all this. And this is from a guy who got hardly any GCSEs. Even my French teacher said to me, Tom, make sure you put your name on top of the test paper because you get 1 point for that. I was like, cheers, thanks. I was like, always makes me giggle when I think of that. So yeah, I think education is important, but I don't think it's the end of your ability to achieve. I think university is not overrated. I think if you're academically bright and that's where you really want to go, I think it is for you. But I don't think you need to be pushed into that direction. There's lots of other kind of ways you can get in or get a head start. I used to work for a company called what are they called? Young Enterprise. We used to go around schools trying to educate kids and what they want to do in the future and how to achieve it. And it was very interesting. You're going to like different levels of schools. You're going to like quite a rough school on the west coast of Cumbria. Then you go very nice school over in like Windermere area, and just seeing kids' different aspirations and then getting to understand like, so you've got a mobile phone, yeah? Who pays for that? Well, my mum. Right, well, that's £60 a month. Your mum earns, what does your mum do? Right, so she average earns this. Do you know how much money your mum doesn't have? Or what would you like to do? And 9 out of 10, footballer, YouTuber, or a social media influencer. Like, that's great. So how do you think you get there? Well, I just got to play football a lot. But it's like you're trying to teach them like the skill set to get to that is it's a long journey. Or they used to look in this folder and look at all the top jobs, surgeons, doctors, pilots, all on this £80,000-90,000 a year, and they'd be like, okay, I want to do that. I was like, right, okay, the way you have to do that, you have to do 3 years study of this, then a further 4 years, then another. Pardon, what? Oh yeah, you don't just get it as soon as you qualify. And just kids don't have any real understanding of that kind of world, and I think it's very much missed out the curriculum in today's education. Is like, it's hard out there. It's not an easy. You can't just come out and expect to earn megabucks or earn a lot of money from the get-go. It's going to be you're either going to have to go to education for a long while or take an apprentice at BAE, or it's different routes, but it's never going to be quick. Sorry, I went off on a long tangent.
I love it. I love your passion. It's it's a good message, and I've really appreciated this chat, mate.
Oh no, I've absolutely loved, mate. I could chat to you for another 2 hours quite easily.
So before we finish this up, where would you like to direct people to check out more of your stuff, any of your businesses, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, I think Whitewood Distilling Co. That'd be great. Come and check us out. We're just an up and coming spirit brand, we do quite cool stuff. And then if anyone like listen to this, come to Eskfest. It's quite magical. Beware that it is quite a journey to get to it. It's not just coming off a road. It's in the bottom of a valley. Don't come over hard knock paths, whatever you do. Apart from that, thank you very much for having me. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed understanding a bit more about you, Jason. And I hope this podcast actually does flourish and
thank you,
does good things.
Have a good day.